Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, the High Guy Jacobs. And today we've got another episode of Who TF Are You? And sitting across from me today is the one and only AlphaCat. AlphaCat, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for letting me be on this show. I really appreciate it. I've been watching you for a while.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, it's it's awesome to have you here. As I mentioned to everybody, my microphone is typically open to everybody because we want to make sure that we get a good representation of the community. And have to do that, you talk to as many people as you can. I've had people all the way down to as low as 30 million might. I talked to Ultimo at 300 million might. So it's really open to everybody. I'm just glad that you took the chance. So thanks a lot for sitting with us. So
no, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you again for having me.
Perfect. So let's jump in here. I got a couple quick questions just to get the people kind of introduced to you a little bit. Why don't you start by giving us a little intro on who you are, where you come from, what region you're in, that kind of stuff. Give us a little history.
So I'm AlphaCat on region 375. There's actually 4 alliances that we share the Metropolis with. Mm-hmm. Currently, it's mine for 2 weeks, and then I get 6 weeks off.
Oh, nice.
Because the Metropolis is a headache.
Yeah, it is.
It's also expensive. I lead Fight with Honor. And I have a large group of people that are really kind of nice.
Nice. I mean, that's probably got to be one of the better parts about it, having, about this game, and I mention it a lot, is the community. So having a nice group of people to play with is probably a benefit, right?
Well, I have an ulterior motive for starting an alliance that I still carry today.
Ooh, an ulterior motive? What is that?
It's so, without being an alliance leader, I can't make friends to save my life. But since I have an alliance, well, now they're forced to be my friend.
We can't complain. You're just like guilty by association. But I mean, you've been in the game now for a long time, so you've had a long time to develop those friendships, right? Like you've been in since, I think we were talking, what was it, early 2002 or 2012, 22?
Late 2022. Like I think October, November, whenever Region 45 opens.
Oh, right. All right. Region 45. That's right.
But most of my friends are from Region 209 and older.
And which region are you in right now?
375.
375. So you can say you've been around a little bit then, hey?
So between Region 45 to getting to 209, I region jumped just doing Zone 3 wars the entire time.
Oh,
going from region to region. And then as soon as the Metropolis was taken, I just moved to a new region and just went to another Zone 3 war.
Wow. So you've probably got a pretty hefty amount of kills then too, don't you?
On various accounts. I mean, it was a really long time before I actually had an account that went over 30 million.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because because after 49 was the first region.
Yeah.
And then after that, I stopped doing, after Region 49 was taken by NM49, I left that region, went to another region, started all over again, went to war. When that region metro was done, I left that one, went to another region, just kept on region jumping.
Oh, man. Now, would you restart a new alliance every time, or would you just join an alliance that was already going?
Oh, I joined alliance every time until Region 209.
Okay, awesome. Because I've done it a couple of times where we've had to move. Like we jumped when 474 first opened, or in Region 474 first opened. This was right before they set up the prevention from that you couldn't join a region after 30 days. So we got in right before that happened. The day that it opened, we moved 70 people into 474 and basically like stomped ourselves down and says, this is it. But then having to redo everything, tech and territory, like, oh my God, the headache, bro. The headache.
So whenever we went to Region 375, which we already, in like November of 2023, we were already talking about migrating off.
Oh.
We actually finally did it in 2024 in February. 'Cause we're waiting for the infantry update to happen so we get our first Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were waiting for. We hit that. We migrated away. And then me and another player, in which he's not with us anymore, not in our alliance anymore, still was a huge point for helping us build, because he helped me. Well, me and him pretty much planned out our zone 3 while we were in zone 1.
Mm-hmm.
And because of him and me together, we were building up a huge territory in zone 3 before anybody even else stepped in.
See, and if you have the like the strategy and the coordination to do that, I mean, I've noticed like when we went to 474, it was very much the same thing. We because we knew what we were going for, because we knew where we looked at it, we scoped ourselves out ahead of time. We looked at what area we were going to drop into, where we were going to place our forts, which towns we were going to build to, as quick as we could, and kind of force that. It was very, I guess you could say, simple after that, because as soon as people see, that amount of coordination, they realize, well, this is maybe not necessarily going to push back against you so much. It's easier to be, friends with bigger groups that way instead of having to, fight them early on. And I don't know about you, but some of those early fights were settled more with words than with troops.
So I made it a rule to not attack any of the smaller, newer alliances, and to give them space.
Good.
Unless they wanted to start a fight, because I was not going to be the guy that jumps on the little starting players.
Well, and that was kind of the biggest thing that we did. The only thing that we ever, like when we jumped to 474, just to kind of show you, to relate to you here, it was more about like everything was always open. We had open, recruitment for anybody who wanted to join as well. We always tried to push, newer players. We were giving we would let the smaller ones capture the level 1 and level 2 the level 1 and level 2 villages for rewards. And we would help them in some of their other squabbles and things like that with other groups. It was very much a situation that said, yes, we were going in to take over, but we were doing it in a way that was fostering a beneficial relationship in the region, right? Instead of coming in saying, hey, this is ours, we're going to take it. We came in and said, hey, although we're probably going to take this stuff, let's work together to make sure everyone still gets what they need.
So I mainly came in just because I wanted an active region, and I knew that if there was going to be one president, you weren't going to have an active region, because regions die with one president, in my opinion.
100%.
Regions die with one president.
Yep.
And so there were at that time, there were 5 larger alliances. One's gone now, but they gave me their territory and their alliance. So all 4 of us agreed, we're just going to take turns with the Metro. We all had similar backgrounds of leaving a region that was what we would consider inhospitable.
Mm-hmm.
But we've all just been sharing the Metro. It works out really well. I took in any new player that wanted to join. I took them in.
Yeah.
And then if they stayed, they stayed. I made 3 alliances going in. Only 2 survived.
So you've been busy in this game then. It's not like a lot of other people that I've talked to who, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like it's a consistent thing, but a lot of people that I've chatted with, I mean, even now you can see them, some 180 million, 170 million people with like 20 million kills, 15 million kills. And in my head, I'm going, how are you enjoying the game when this is a war game, right? If all you're doing is like, I mean, anybody can build up might, but to actually be able to get out and, use it is one of those things. So you've been active for a while then.
Yeah. I actually have right now I have 186 million kills.
Oh, nice. So you're above the 1-to-1 ratio. I am yet to receive that one.
Well, I'm trying to remain above my second in charge, which is named Gang 1. He's even at T5, he was the most, well, he is the most vicious fighter I've seen in this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At T5, he's keeping up with me at T6 in kills.
Oh, wow. Well,
and he's got a T6 now, but
he did get his T6?
Yeah, he just got it recently.
Oh, nice.
I
remember unlocking my infantry. I still talk about it because it's still fresh. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's, I think 3 months or 2 months now that I've had them. But the step up from tier 5 to tier 6 really Really is a big jump, you know. You like to be able to remember that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got my first T6 in February of 2024 also.
Yeah, rub that one in.
Yeah. Well, a lot of stuff happened in January, February of that year.
That was I mean that was a big time for the game. I think it went through a lot of like progress. I mean, if you look at over the last year, for example, with how many changes that we've had, I mean, it would make sense that at the beginning of 2023, you know, because it's been one hell of a 2024. Just in general, has been busy. So
Vehicles were, I still haven't fully caught up on vehicles. And then when they brought out beasts, I'm sorry, Pokemon.
yeah,
Let me
yeah,
correct that. Pokemon. And I'm like, I'm not going to be, if I can't keep up with vehicles, I'm not going to keep up with Pokemon either. Survivors love those.
yeah. Survivors,
Can't
you
use
get
every,
enough of.
can't use all of them because I'm already maxed on all my stuff. Still love them though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things that, like I said, they give you enough survivors that it feels relevant. They don't give you enough beast stuff. Like one of my biggest problems with the biochemical Pokemon, is like the Wish Pokemon, is that they don't give you enough to get them, and yet they're so very important, especially when you're talking rallies, garrisons, and the rest. Like I was talking with Zed about it, or Z, and I was watching some of his videos on it. And he actually just released a video on the beasts and how they broke down, and looking through the reports and stuff. And it's surprising how influential they're turning out to be, when on paper they looked to be very, very simplistic. But they're very influential. Like they hurt a lot, a lot.
So for obvious reasons, I am targeting one of the legendary cat Pokemon
Yeah.
as my main.
Yeah. I'm going for the
And
pangolin.
I'm pumping it up. So I'm pumping it up pretty high, but it's like, God dang, you cannot get those legendary ones to save your life.
Nope, you can't. And like I said, if you look at the searches, for example, the beast searches, like the trapping events, the quick trappings, there's not nearly enough of those. And if that's really the only way to get a lot of these legendary beasts, like they don't put it doesn't seem like they're putting the hammer pangolin or the undead bull in the anywhere to get, like, so like the only place to get those is from quick searches, quick trappings. I don't have very many of those frags.
Well, they've locked pretty much all to get fragments for legendaries. They're almost locked behind a paywall.
Yep.
And because for the radar one, if you want to get them from the radar station, you got to go through the paywall to unlock those 4 things for the beast. And then if you go through the search, you got to pay to actually get the level ups for those legendary beasts also.
Mm-hmm.
So you're having another vehicle instance where it's behind a paywall, and then they'll see what happens.
That's true. And unfortunately, because it's not like the vehicles in the sense that the vehicles influence every march. So like, right. So like so it influences every march, whereas the beasts influence only the individual marches themselves, which means like you need them. It's like armaments, and armaments are much easier to get now. So it's like you need to have those beasts be much easier to get than what they currently are. Otherwise, I mean, the only people that are going to have them are Safe Me's, Hands, Coco Bongo, places like that, right? So it's a really weird place for IGD to be at. And then when you include this collab with Pacific Rim, don't get me wrong, I love Pacific Rim. It's a great movie. But this whole game is starting to feel so weird to me now, because it started off being zombies and survival, and now it's like you said, Pokemon, vehicles, tanks, helicopters. Now we got Gundam wings. Like it's weird. It's weird, isn't it? Am I the crazy one here?
When I started this game, you watch little commercial things and they show, oh, you're hunting zombies, you're killing zombies. I thought, I'm going to play a zombie killing game. We're going to kill so many zombies. I watched like a little bit of somebody else whenever I was on region 45. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I need to do this. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to make an alliance with other people and we're going to kill zombies together. No. I learned really quickly that This game really has nothing to do with zombies. There may be zombies there on the ground, but
You,
God, they could make a zombie event, and it would be just so easy to make a zombie island event.
some kind of PvE event. You know what I mean? Like that'd be
Yeah.
fine. That'd be fine.
I mean, honestly, I think that, and I could be wrong. I think people would like it, even if it's a zombie PvE event. I think people still like it because it's a
Yeah.
zombie game.
And well, I've heard that from a couple of people make those suggestions to say like they want some more PvE events, some more ways to like, you know, again, fight zombies. Or even I had someone suggest even doing Pompeii, but like having a trainable Pompeii, so you can do like a, you know, you and just go in and play AI, right?
You know,
Just like pay.
that would be a great idea.
Yeah, yeah. So you can like train and practice and strategize and shit like that.
I mean, because we've run in there a lot of times, and we're fortifying. We like to run in there and just start shooting people, and you don't get points for shooting people, but it's still fun to just shoot people.
Yeah, you don't get alliance points, but you sure get those regular ones.
Mhm.
You sure get personal points. And although you only need 15,000, remember this, you only need 15,000 for max rewards. When your name pops up MVP and you've cracked like 500,000 points in a Pompeii or like 650,000 points in a Pompeii, you feel good about yourself. You feel good.
I spend most of my time just running up these towers and just swarming a tower.
Yeah.
I love swarming towers.
See, but you can do that. At 180 million, you have that capability. Unfortunately, in my position, I've got one good march. Well, two good marches. I've got my garrison squad, and then I've got one infantry march that I can use on the field. Otherwise, I'm like, if I put them both on, I can kind of maneuver things around and have a couple of marches, but it's not near enough, and I don't have near the troop count. Like, I'm just over 1.8 million troops total with cars. So it's like, it's a situation where I really have to dump. Like, I was thinking about it today. I really have to hyper-focus troop creation because I want to be able to run 3-4 marches without having to worry about, you know, a march going down to 94,000 troops in the field. That doesn't make any sense.
I just shaved some cars off because I was like, God dang, I have 350,000 cars. I don't need that many cars.
Nope, you don't. I keep about 230 to 250.
So I took down enough cars to run, to feed off of 4 nodes and just send everything else to the Alliance node.
Yeah.
And I shaved off about like 4 or 5 million power.
Yeah.
And I know that's not much. It makes me feel like I'm getting thin, though.
Makes me feel like I'm sandbagging a little. Yeah.
I mean, I look at my armaments inside my bag, and I'm like, those add up to my overall power. I'm gonna have to cut that out.
Well, the armaments only add up to your power when they're equipped. They do, however, add up to your rating, which is different.
That's what I mean. My rating.
Yeah. That's there is a difference. And there's this is a common misunderstanding when it comes to it because of how they've done ratings and rankings, where they rank the top 2,200, but then they match it based on your rating, which is different, right? So people think that when they're 20s, like let's say they register their might at 2,200, right? Let's say they're the absolute lowest ranked alliance at 2,200, but they could be ranked and matched with people that are ranked much higher because their rating is different. And we saw that in IR this week, for example, and so many people are having problems. Have you heard about how many people are having issues with IR this week?
So we normally, a lot of times, get shoved with super whales. We got it shoved with right next to a whale group again, and like whenever they brought Island Raid back, we were in like the midsection, like not the apex here, the one in kind of the middle.
Right.
We had Prim right next to us.
I think that's Elite Warzone.
Elite, okay. We had Prim, and we looked at it, and was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And then, but I wasn't thinking, oh, I don't want to fight Panda. I was thinking, I don't want to get punched in the face by Big Daddy.
Yeah, it's Big Daddy who's the problem. I fought Big Daddy. He's a scary man. He's not. You know, he's not someone you want to catch in a dark alley after a night of drinking. That's for sure.
So I do have some big mouths in my alliance that do like to run the IR chat. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
I really don't want to fight Big Daddy. And so I was like, and usually I stay out of the IR chat. I'm gonna get a lot of burn for this. But I went into the IR chat and I was like, oh, you're gonna make me curse.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Here it comes.
Oh, so I was gonna be like, oh, y'all guys would be bitches without Big Daddy. And I know I'm full of shit, but the simple fact is I know that I couldn't fight Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And you know what they didn't do?
What?
They didn't send back Big Daddy after us.
Really?
They still beat us. They still beat us really badly.
Yeah.
But they didn't send Big Daddy out. But they didn't have Big Daddy attack us.
Oh, nice. Maybe he was like,
it was nice.
well, they were ballsy enough to call us a bitch. So let's let's give him that win, you know? No,
So
it's one of those things. Like if I look at my alt, for example, because I play it in I've got the two accounts. I got my main and then I've got my alt account. And my alt account is in IR as well. But it's in G215. Get this. We're in G215. Okay. We like registered at 3.5 billion might, right? In our region, there's a 300 million whale with 2.5 million or billion kills who won't leave us alone. Just us. He's like parked in front of our place, hyper focusing our entire. I'm like, I sent 5 squads in against one of his squads. All 5 of mine got wiped out. And I was like, well, there goes IR for us. Because if one of his squads can do that to 5 of mine, there's nothing that I can. I'm one of the strongest in our team. Most of our average players are 60, 70, 80 million might. As soon as you have one player like that, the whole experience is ruined.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much we get shoved next to those people. And we're like, what the hell can we do to not get surrounded by whales?
Yeah. And I think it's only on IGG. They have to be the one to address it. Their matchmaking is so flawed. I have no idea what they do or how they do it. But I mean, this IR, I have heard nothing but the worst matchups. Even in some of the higher ones, like just some of the weird matchups. A 4 billion alliance getting matched against 12 billion might alliances. Like you're like, how does it? It's literally like they put all the teams up on a wall and threw darts. Like
so
that one.
So we're fighting it, and the alliance we're fighting, we were like, oh, we're gonna catch them while they're asleep.
Yeah.
And so their allies came in from one side of the map to help them. Not a problem. We wiped out their allies, sent them home. They came back. We wiped out their allies. We sent them home. But whenever we tried to attack the towers, we just couldn't even get through their towers. Their tower defense was so well armored.
Yeah.
And their vehicles are so big, we're like, we can't get through this.
Jeez. And it's just so disheartening. It's just so disheartening. Because, like, as a player, especially from your position, right, and I can appreciate this, as a player on the bigger side of things, you want to still feel relevant. Like, I'm not even there. I'm big in regards to my alliance. Like, they rely on me for things. I am our garrison main right now, only because I'm, like, the only one who does it. But that's like one of those things. If I went to another alliance right now and I wasn't in that, I would feel disheartened by it, the whole thing. And so going into an IR like that, where the matchmaking is just so asinine, it takes the win. I can see why people why they get pissed off at the matchmaking, because it doesn't, you can't do anything about it. And the developers don't seem to care, because this is the same matchmaking that we get every event.
And then so we do have people that we should not have in our alliance. Mm. We are removing them. I'm a softie, so sometimes it's a little bit rough. It's a little bit rough for me sometimes, because I'm like, sorry, I like you. You're a nice person. You really can't fight. You're really too small. Why? You really shouldn't be here. we'll get the movie somewhere else and find you a better place to be because you can't really
Yeah.
fight with us.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they all get sad, and I'm like, oh,
And now I'm
you're gonna give me the
heartbroken.
emoji puppy dog?
Yeah.
Because
Those big eyes, the big sad eyes. No, it's, I mean,
I'm, I'm
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
I'm a father,
Yeah.
and so I look at him. A lot of you always hear about the mother of the alliance, like, oh, this is the alliance mother. Alliance mother, they take care of them, they train them. I consider myself an alliance father. And I'm like, I want to help them. I want to train. I want to give them suggestions. But sometimes when you just like, they don't really want to do it. They
Well,
don't want to do it.
not only that, but sometimes dad's got to come in with tough love. You know what I mean? Like sometimes dad's got to come in and be the bearer of bad news. And I hate to be that guy, but this is a problem that we deal with as well. And this is why it's always been one of my biggest stances in this game to get people to realize it's not about being in the strongest alliance. It's about being in the alliance that matches your play style and your might structure. Like I could go play in HNB and yes, I could get the rewards and yes, I could get parts of the gold that they share and yes, I could do all this stuff. But if I'm not growing my account, if I'm not learning the mechanics, if I'm not being able to participate in events, and if I'm just getting eliminated even at 100 million, like what's the purpose? What's the point? So when I see 30 million people that want, like 30 million might people that want to join our alliance or 20 million might people that are asking to join, I'm like, sure, but why? Like there's nothing you won't be able to. It's not my selfishness that says you won't be able to participate. It's more my empathy that says you won't be able to enjoy the game. Like it's a different side of things, right? So it's a different perspective, but I totally appreciate that avenue of being that nice guy because I'm in the same boat. I hate kicking people for not being strong enough, but there's a point where I have to bite that bullet and go, well, go to the academy, try it, try it there, see if that helps.
See, I'm trying to move my casuals over to our second alliance,
Yeah,
and free up our farm alliance again. But yeah, hello, stop.
is that a kitty kitty?
That is a kitty kitty.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no. If she gets too close, she'll start trying to dominate,
Oh,
trying to walk in front of me. And she's not tiny.
yeah, cats. I think cats have a totally different parameter than dogs do in that comparison. You know.
Well, I have a Doberman, but well, he's not here, which means somebody's taking him for a walk.
Either that or he got out. I don't know. You know.
I hope he didn't get out again.
Yeah.
No. It's been years. He's a good boy.
Nice.
He can jump the fence.
Oh, really? I guess I mean a Doberman. He's gonna be pretty tall.
Yeah. He's done it now. In fairness, whenever he jumped the fence, I realized how I was doing it until I realized he was jumping on something before he went over the fence.
Oh my God! Speak of the devil, we had this. We had a dog when we used to live in Alberta, and we lived in this like small little cookie cutter place with a backyard fenced in, a good 6.5 foot fence, and we got this Akita. And when he was a puppy, he literally like this is how smart he was. He literally dragged the bench that we had in our middle of in the middle of the yard by the fire pit. He dragged it over to the fence so that he could hop on that and then jump out. Like he moved the bench. You don't just do that.
I don't know. Dogs are smart. They want something.
That's what I'm saying. We don't give them enough credit to animals, man. They do some crazy stuff.
Originally, my name was going to be Alpha Wolf. Name was taken.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
That name was taken. So it's AlphaCat. And on Region 209, for the longest time, if you're in the Alliance, you call me Alpha. If you hated me, it would be Cat.
Oh, that makes
almost
sense.
Almost like if somebody saw you do something wrong. Cat.
Yeah.
Get down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Where's my spray bottle?
See, during that war, I had a lot of people that hated me and that were afraid that I was mean.
Oh, really?
And I was like, which was nice, but I think I've lost a lot. I've lost a lot of that now
Yeah.
because now people know that I'm not mean.
Well,
And
I was just gonna say now you could probably, I mean, with the change of vernacular, you could probably go with Sigma Cat, and it might have more validity. Now,
well, I've got beta, gamma, and zeta, and omega.
now you need Sigma. You got to get a Sigma
Mhm.
in there, just to appease
It-
the or just to appease the generation alphas.
So I kind of line them. I kind of line them up. I'm not actually sure where beta cat is right now.
Oh no,
No, I'm
just
not sure.
somewhere.
I know how to get onto it, but that's when my daughter plays whenever she plays.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going to log into that account because if she's still in an alliance, I don't want them to see this account go active
Yeah.
and think that, oh, that one's back.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, we had a one of my closer friends in the game. She just disappeared, and I have no idea where it is. And low key, I still don't know where she is. She hasn't responded to any of my Discord messages or anything. She just dropped off the map, and it's low key scary. Like I have no clue. But someone had given her an account, and that person had logged back into the account. So I thought it was her that was logging back in, but it wasn't. So just like you like, well, they might think that she's coming back. I thought she was coming back. Nope, she's not. It's a random person again. But that's low key talking about the community, right? It's one of those things. You make these connections with people, and all of a sudden, I'm worried. Like, what happened to her? I'd like to know. But so, Linz, if you're hearing this, let me know. Reach out to me, please. Christ.
I actually owe my alliance a Macarena dance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I could play the
But-
music, and you could do it right now. We can get that on tape. That'd be fine.
I don't think my screen is big enough to actually get it the entire thing.
Oh, we just
Also
gotta
waiting
put
for
the
my-
you just gotta put the camera back just a little bit. We can make it work.
I am waiting for my knee to get better, a little better though. I heard it about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
But they're gonna get their dance. I told them last island raid. So before it was we have to get first in island raid or first in GW or first in AR, like
Yeah.
win it all together.
Sure.
But there were so many whales in the island that I was like, we're gonna get last.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna get. We're gonna get last. And we ended up, and I told him, okay, if we get first or third, I'm gonna dance for you. We got second or third.
Now you
No, I
gotta
was
eat
like-
your words.
So the dance is gonna happen. Yeah. Also, I got to watch a YouTube video because I've done the Macarena since elementary school.
That's about. Hold on, you said you're in your 40s, so that's gonna put you.
I'm 45.
That's gonna put you older than a millennial, so that puts you in the one before that. That's a Gen X. Does that make you a Gen Xer?
I have no idea.
I think it's a Gen.
it-
I think it's Gen X.
I think it is Gen X, but I'm not 100% sure.
Either way, that's about the most Gen X thing you've ever said so far. I have to watch a YouTube on how to do the Macarena because I haven't done it since elementary school.
I would like to think that I act younger than I am, but I don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know how old we act, but I also look at it and I go, age is just a number. Not in the sense that you should get with anybody, but in the sense that, like, my joints are a total different age than, like, my mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you if you were to ask me, I'm 38, but, like, my brain, maybe 16, my joints, in the grave. It's like, I'm somewhere in the middle, just it's a mixture of all those numbers.
All right. So, like, I saw see, now I'm going to go off out of game stuff. I saw my dad and his joints. And I was like, no, that's not happening to me. It's not happening to me. So far, I've been lucky enough where I can still jog and I can still ride a bike. But I already know that at some point, I'm going to just feel like I can't walk anymore.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing. My dad's got bad knees too.
I'm just stretching it out a little bit longer.
As long as you can. That's totally fine. And again, it's totally fine to take a step away from the game because guess what? We're going to go right back into it. I got to ask you a question because I do want to know. And I want the people to know a little bit more about you. You started off as a rider, correct? A rider main?
I did start off as rider.
And from what we chatted a little bit ahead of time, you've moved into more of an infantry main, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Let me ask you, the switch, was that specifically just because that's kind of what your alliance needed, or was there any other motivating factors to that?
So my alliance needed. We went to. So previously, my alliance was mostly formed off of people that were either against me or didn't like me.
Oh.
And so, but then, it started to, it all became one. And so this is like our third island raid when we actually were trying. And we discovered we don't have any garrison players. We don't have any rallying players.
You just had field fighters.
So I used all of the gold fragments I'd saved to pump up one hero to a garrison, and the rest of them to bring up Peter.
Oh no!
At this point, I'm like 30 something million. And so I had Tom and Regaro as my garrison.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Fine. They were
100%.
doing the job.
Yeah.
They were fine. Because in 209, Thunder wasn't out yet.
That's right.
Not our region.
Not to mention, even today, Regaro Tom is not bad. If it's all you have, it's not bad. Regaro does really well. Tom does pretty decently. If they're both awakened, it's not bad.
And then, so I was using Peter to rally on things.
Yeah.
Because that's what I had. I was like, oh, he's a rally hero. I should use him to rally. And he was doing fine until we get to the whales in the center as in 8.
Yeah.
We had 2 other lines on lockdown. So he was doing the job.
Yep. And that would also, sorry to interrupt, but that would also have been a time when Peter was actually a decent hero to have. Like bringing those extra troop counts, being able to bring 2.3 million or 2.4 million troops against a 1.5 million or 2 million garrison was a huge advantage.
I mean, most of the alliances didn't have anything to really match either. There's only one T6 alliance, so we were doing fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, Peter still sucked. Yeah. But you know what? He was and I didn't know any better.
Not like now though. Like now he's not even build worthy. I'm like, Stan can build. Peter can just sit there, lazy fuck.
If they give him a skin, I'm gonna start using Peter again.
It would be, I think there's a couple that I would be really excited to see a skin on. I think Peter needs a skin. I think Hank needs a skin. It would be interesting to have them back. I think a lot of those older heroes should get skins, but they should be easy to achieve to update these heroes because they need to be updated.
No, they should definitely. I mean, personally, they should put the skins aside like a top commander.
That would be good.
I'm going to get a lot of. Yeah, I would love that.
It would be good.
I mean, what is it, like 300, 400 of those things just to get it?
It's 250 vouchers.
Okay, 250 vouchers just to get skin.
Just to get one skin.
You could throw that top commander.
Yeah, even giving us vouchers instead, like they do for the blast cores or for the what are they called? The power cores. What are they called? It might be power cores. I think it's power cores.
I know it's cores.
Yeah, I know core is part of it. I think they're power cores. I think they're power cores.
Yeah. No, I mean, because I'm not going to buy the Doomsday sisters unless I can get them in a pack together.
Yep.
Because I already know that they've done it twice, which means they're going to do it a third time.
They better.
I am slowly, if I ever see the packs for the cards come through again, I'll get a couple just to let them kind of grow so I can get Lewis. Mm-hmm. But I'm not breaking the wallet for Lewis.
No, not anymore. Especially if you look at the Lewis skin compared to the Calamity Sister skins. Like, don't get me wrong, Lewis is one of those heroes that especially now still has a lot of flexibility. Especially if... Yeah, I mean, he still does well in the field. He still does well in garrison, right? Especially if you have nobody else. Like we even found that out in our IR this time. First off, we found one of our players had a 4 million Julia and didn't understand how that meant, like how that was influential. So we now have a new ranged leader who was just forcibly promoted. But it's the same type of thing, right? So it's like, he's like, well, who do I send him with? I'm like, do you have a Lewis? Yep. Perfect. Good enough. Lewis is still flexible enough, still deals damage, still has flex, still gets rage, all the stuff that you need for him to be good. He still does. Yes, he's a little outdated, and yes, the skin does a little bit better. But I think that's kind of why the skin isn't as good as the Calamity Sister skins, because if you look at them, the Calamity Sisters need to run together. They need that synergy of running together. Otherwise, they're kind of just like another hero in the mix. So it's like they needed to have that extra step up in order to be it. And Lewis just had efficiency anyways. And I'll be honest, the fact that they gave him some ferocious skill that only really triggers and really has a lot of benefit when the enemy is below 20% HP. Like that's like the lowest trigger I've seen.
I still get a lot of people that look at me and say, Ryder. Because the profile picture, my profile picture is Maya Shiranui.
Yeah.
Because so they're like, oh, you suck, you use Riders. I'm like, okay. So Maya Shiranui came from Fatal Fury, King of Fighters. I've been playing those games since Fatal Fury. So I'm like, I need her.
Right.
Just for that.
I felt the same way with Marco.
Yeah. Metal Slug?
Yeah. I played a lot of Metal Slug. I played a lot of Metal Slug.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I need that. One of the, whenever they had that event, one of my members thought, oh, they're also going to bring out this character too, because he said the game told him that. And I was like, I was really getting excited. I was like, oh, we're going to need a lot of King of Fighter heroes.
Nope, just the one.
Yeah.
Just the one. And if you look at it, here's going to be my biggest point, my biggest problem with that whole my collaboration. If you look at the March skins that were available from the three of them, so you get the March skin from the my event, which is the airship. You had the March skin from this one, which is the Jaeger. And I don't remember.
Oh, it was that giant robot that would shoot lasers.
Oh yeah, Robot Cock. So
yeah.
here's you look at those three skins. The robot one, amazing. Okay, super awesome. The one that we're getting now, the Crimson Typhoon,
Jaeger.
right? The Jaeger looks pretty good. I'm not gonna say it's amazing, but it looks pretty good. The Sharon, whatever it is, her airship. Total trash bag. I'm just not good March skin at all. Not a fan.
It doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah.
So I was very disappointed.
I mean, what else were they really going to do with it? I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm like, they could have done better with that. They could have looked at the Fatal Fury games, the King of Fighters, and they could have easily found a better March skin to represent her.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. You know, if they ever do another King of Fighters collaboration, they can't figure it out, call me. AlphaCat, call me. I will tell them what to do, where to look, to show them what they need to do. I love King of Fighters.
You heard that here first, folks. IGG, if you're listening, if you plan on doing another collab with King of Fighters, let AlphaCat know, and he will help you with your marketing and selections. He will be your guide.
Give me a free skin. That's all I want.
just a little bit, just the fucking crumbs, you know.
I finally got my first duck skin, and I'm so you know when they made that large update about with the skins.
Yeah.
They make them. So I have been trying to save to get a skin for so long, and when they made that change, I was like, oh no, it's impossible. Screw it.
Yeah.
Why
now
do I
it is
try
impossible.
Now? I mean, I don't even spend money and trying to do that anymore because it's just not likely to happen.
Nope.
Before I would dump money into those events. Now it's just no. I'm done.
It's a part of it where the developers missed a huge aspect, and I'm really curious to see which way they make more money. I assume because they haven't changed back, they still make more money doing it this way than they did the other way. But there's a ton of people that I've spoken to that are just like so annoyed. Like that was the part that I even had one of those situations where right after they changed it, I burned all of my arrows because I was like, oh, this will be easy. I can get a new skin. It'll be much easier, right? Nope. No, not at all. Much harder. Much harder.
It used to be 300.
Pardon?
It used to be 300 to get. It used to be 300 arrows to get a reward, to start getting rewards before they made 1,000. At least 300 or 500 arrows to get it before the 1,000.
I know they did that with Splendid Steel.
Well,
it used to be 500.
Didn't the arrows used to be like 300 or 500?
I've always remembered arrows being 1,000.
We're gonna go with 1,000 then. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think they've always been 1,000. The only time that I can ever remember them changing something is when they did the Splendid Steel, because at first they did 500 for the first Splendid Steel, and then they brought the Splendid Steel files down to only 300. But I had an unreasonable moment of being upset at that moment then, because I was so sure that they raised the number up to 1,000. I don't know. Unless my memory is really bad, which is totally possible because I smoke way too much weed. I don't ever remember the arrows being under 1,000. But people will correct.
1,000.
Yeah, and people will correct me in the comments either way, so I'll get roasted one way or the other. Sounds fair.
I'm sure I'll have a lot of people telling me that you're wrong, sir.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
You're wrong. That's okay. Come and check me anytime. That's my entire goal, right? If I'm wrong, come correct me. I'd rather be right than not, so that's fine. But anyways, AlphaCat, we've been chatting here for a while. We got to wrap up here a little bit, but I do want to ask you a couple last questions here before we do, just to kind of get it. And I'll be honest, I've had an absolute blast here today so far. You've had a really great opinion on it. Very, very, like we talked about, very friendly, very open. I love to see that type of player in the community. So again, I want to thank you for joining me here. Let me ask you though, like I ask everybody, and I want to make sure that we get a good, a good section here. If IGG was listening to this interview right now and they were actually taking our advice with a grain of salt, or actually listening, what advice would you give the IGG developers to give Doomsday the most longevity that you can?
Their updates, they need to change it to like seasonal thing. Like say every 6 months, bring out one pay thing, one thing for the free players. Do that every 6 months, because they bring out too much stuff in the range of 3 to 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
If they knock it down to 6 months, slow it down. And there are a lot of things I would have bought if they would change the price from like $100 to like a couple of $5 spins, maybe like $10 spins, because I spend quite a bit, but I spend quite a bit on low purchases, small purchases.
Like the $5, the $2 ones, the $1 ones, the $5 ones, things like that. The actual microtransactions.
So at a minimum, I usually spend about $130 a week at a minimum in the game.
And that's all in the small stuff.
That's usually me just buying small stuff, like the weekly rewards, things like that.
Yeah.
Because I can look at those and I can be like, I can do $5, I can do $10.
Yeah.
But whenever they put that $100 thing in my face, I'm sitting there thinking, am I really going to use that?
Well, it's like the helicopter. I'm still at a point, like I still have to, I still owe like 300 to get the helicopter, or 200. So I know.
That's the alpha.
That's the AlphaCat. I gotcha. No, but it's like, I mean, it's like, yeah, but it's like one of those situations where as you're trying to get stronger and as you're trying to increase your might, it's like, where do you end up spending that's the most efficient? And I will give the game credit. They have done one thing that I think is really smart of them, where they did open up more of those cheaper weekly packs. So now we have the parts packs, for example. We have the equipment packs, for example, so people can start working on those, aspects as well. And it's way cheaper than it was previous to get those parts and armaments and things like that. So those big changes. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm very stupid. I buy a bunch of parts because in my mind, I want those white parts.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they don't matter as much anymore, but I still want them. So I would
Right.
go out of my way to buy those parts packs regularly. So I love that weekly part.
Yeah.
That is one of the greatest things for me.
Yeah, and honestly, for the extra, $5 a week or whatever it is, it's really not that bad, and you get a decent Malian value. So having those microtrans, I'm sure they made a buttload off of those ones, right? Because I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I find myself spending on those ones more often too.
I buy anything that gives me gold fragments, anything that gives me parts,
Yeah,
anything that gives me armaments. That's already bought. I don't even think about it. It's just I buy it.
but you are correct though. The white parts are not nearly as influential as they once were, previous to armaments being released. When armaments was released, it really started to give more of an unbalance to what those parts and equipments actually meant. That's even
Mhm.
why, even like having all red equipments, things like that, it's not nearly as influential as it was before. You really need to have, superb fragment or superb armaments. You really need to have those red hones. You really need to be, have your armaments above 4.5, 4.5 million, at least level
Devices.
10. Yeah, devices too.
You're paying $100 just for a minimum for those superb devices. Oh,
Yep.
I really- I get a couple superb devices, but you know those little gathering devices.
Yep.
I use quite a few of those and just hone them up.
Do you?
I use those gathering devices because you've got because you can only have one of each type of device on.
Right.
So you got the mask,
Yep.
and then sometimes you have those extra little slots, and you don't have anything to fill it up with. So until I fill up that slot with something else, it's got a gathering device in it for that type.
Oi. I only have that gathering equipment on my actual gatherers themselves. But I see a ton of people use them on their fighting squads as well. And in my head I'm going, I get it. You can put 4 hones on there and give yourself an extra 4.5% or 3.5%, these attributes. But you're missing out on all the bonus resources, all that gathering speed, all that extra, and all of the hones that you put on those are all wasted. I couldn't imagine wasting hones. That's why I got rid of all my purples already. I regret
So
it. Don't get me wrong. I do regret portions of it, but I know I'm not wasting hones anymore.
so those little like those little regular hones, those things are trash to me. You get
Mm.
those so much that I don't even care about those. They don't even matter.
I typically
And
use.
then
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. That's my fault. Go ahead.
auto gathering was one of the best things I'd ever bought.
Yep. That'll be
I
one that I
love
have
just
to get
turning
to.
that on, going to work. Maybe I might have to restart it again. I sent 3 guys out, one guy to the resource center, just one guy just every now and then goes do something else.
Yeah.
Fine. I love it.
They those
I,
those additions, like those the special survivors, as well as the um what's also the thing that they just brought in, oh, the radar station pack. Those quality of life changes, oh,
you
just
just hit the button and it's done.
that's right. I'm like, yeah, baby, I'm not spending 7 minutes doing the summon every goddamn. No, screw that shit. It was so good. I even bought it on my alternative, and I don't spend money on that account. But they got $5 out of me for that freaking monthly pass.
So I'm trying to make the smallest, very as small as I can to get a headquarters 25
Yeah,
out of a farm. And I'm looking like I'm halfway tempted just to dump truck auto farming money into you, just so I don't have to mess with you myself.
it's so annoying. But like those quality of life, like those are some of the changes that I know. You know, part of me goes, it's so stupid they did it because it's obviously just a money grab. But it was the best money grab. Go ahead. Grab that money, baby. Go ahead. Grab it.
Oh, actually, and the best update is the gold vault.
Oh, for sure. 100% I agree. Yep.
It took me forever to figure out how to handle that gold vault the best. But one of my favorite things to do to tell my members that are kind of mid range is, hey, whenever you get your tower up to 25 and your battle center up to 22, call me. Let me know. And if you haven't bought the headquarters growth package yet, don't.
Right.
Don't buy it yet. Wait till you're 22. Wait till your battle center's 22. I will give you the gold to get that thing up to 25.
So that you can get your growth pack, so you can get to 2.0 mil rally and all that shit. Tier 6.
Yeah. So that way, because that took me like 6 or 7 months to go to get up to 25.
100%. It's not easy.
And now I'm just speeding members from 22 to 25, and so they're saving time. And I got members that are on their way to T6 because I'm telling them, do not buy this yet. You don't need those gems right now. You're gonna be those gems. You're gonna buy some speed ups. Don't.
You're gonna spend it on other things.
Yeah. Just use it for this. Whatever's left over, buy whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Right. And my members so far haven't complained that I try to be like, no. I'm gonna give you some gold. Don't buy that. Buy this.
Yeah.
Buy this.
So so the gold vault to me is both the best and worst thing that they've done. It is phenomenal because it's a free 5%. So it doesn't cost the alliance anything. It's bonus. However, it does give the ideology that those who spend deserve back. And in my brain, I'm going, look, you spent, you got your rewards for spending. This is all additional shit. Yes, theoretically, we wouldn't get it if you didn't spend, so I get that aspect. But in my brain, I'm like, this is a situation where it's much more influential. Like for what we do, for example, is that we'll base it on the 2 rotations of events, because we only play IR and AR. We don't play GW generally, just because GW is bad timing for us. Mm-hmm. So we'll play IR, we'll play AR, and then we'll take 2 weeks off. But we'll take your IR and AR scores and base it on your ratio. So a ratio is how many points you get versus your might, right? And in an event, for example, we're shooting for a 1-to-1 ratio. So that way, even if you have 30 million might, as long as you're in there fighting for points and you end up getting, 20 million or 30 million points, that's active enough. Do you know what I mean? Like that's pushing hard enough. You're doing well. You don't have to get 100 million points as a 50 million player to get rewards. So anytime a player gets above a 1-to-1 ratio, or anytime they get close to that 1-to-1 ratio, we start looking at doing massive gold distributions at that point. So we'll have those top players who are pushing harder, and those players who are actually, putting in and sacrificing troops and out there and pushing gets a little bit of an extra bonus to say, here you go. Thanks a lot for the effort. Here's a bonus so you can either, put it towards your healing or put it towards your growth or put it towards this. But it's a show of thanks to say, thanks for putting the effort in. The amount of people that we have that are shooting now specifically for that 1-to-1 ratio is astronomical compared to what it was before. And even having that little bit of influence with gold is huge. And the developers didn't need to do it. So it's a huge benefit for what they did. But
so with the gold first, we did like a raffle, but because I didn't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. Then I started like offering to, hey, do this. And I'm going to give you the gold for this. But eventually when you get too much gold, and I know you can never have too much. Never have too much. But I was just like, all right, I'm going to get, until somebody actually hits one of these goals where I need to give them some gold, I'm just going to give everybody half of the amount back in bonus gold that they got. It's fine, because I don't have anything else to do with it. I don't want the gold to just sit there forever.
Yeah.
I don't like it when the gold gets over $100.
We like to typically do distributions at around 20,000 gold. And the way that we were doing it beforehand, before we started to initiate this ratio aspect, we were doing where the R4 team would get so the R4 team would get paid for their work, right? Because they're the ones that are, negotiating all the aspects. And then each R4 player or R4, R5 player would have a nomination from the alliance that they, think is doing well, performing well, chatting well, good activity, good participation, things like that. And then we would take the 20,000 and just distribute it evenly among all of those players, so that all the R4, the R5 was getting a chunk for doing their work, and then a good mix of everybody else. And a lot of times you'd have players that are free-to-play players getting, sometimes like 500 gold or 1,000 gold. They never have had that chance before. Well, that's going to give them 2 extra heroes, right? That's going to give them Cynthia out the gate, Catherine out the gate just for making their first purchases. start to kind of get that flex in there. And truth be told, we've had a lot of players that have started to buy just because we've given them gold to buy in the first place.
Oh, no, I have two players that came from 375. One of them started with us from the very beginning. One of them came from another alliance.
Yep.
They were totally 100% free to play players. They were killing so much at free to play. They were growing pretty quickly for what I would think for free to play.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to take care of these two.
Yeah.
I got to take care of them. And one of them's 70 million, the other one's almost 70 million. And I mean, and so I was kind of a lazy fighter up until like 30 something million. And they put me and I was like, oh my, and I was paying.
Right.
But that's also because a lot of people weren't going to fight me during the early Zone 3 wars too. But some people, the alliance, I lost that war, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But the alliances that did win that war were willing to fight me.
Yeah.
So that's where I got most of my kills from. And that's where they probably got most of their kills
That's
from
right.
in the early wave.
Give and take.
But, I would have like 5 or 6 million at the time whenever they were at 11 million.
Yeah.
And I enjoy watching those two kill. One of them's Asian, so I can't pronounce his name. Great guy though. And the other guy's Pascal. For two free to play players,
yeah,
they just run amok. So I enjoy taking in those like the free to play players and the kind of low power players, because in my mind I'm thinking they're going to be monsters. Those guys could be monsters.
Well, as long as they have the right mentality, like as long as you can be a free to play player totally fine. Like I have no problems for players wanting to, be frugal with their resources or frugal with their troops or things like that. Don't get me wrong. I firmly believe that troops are built to be destroyed. That's why we make them. But I can totally understand, like even in my situation where I'm pushing to at least have 1 million infantry, or I'm pushing to at least have 1.5 million infantry, even though we take losses, right? So it's that type of push. And as a free-to-play player, that's totally fine as long as your mentality is right, as long as your play style is conducive to the alliance that you're in. I know a lot of free-to-play players that are just farmers, and I look at it and go, like I said before, where's the fun? If you're not fighting, if you're not participating in the game the way that it's designed, what's the point of being 200 million if you're not going to use your might and do something with it?
I know, I totally agree. I mean, I will run my soldiers into the ground if it means that my guys get a little better rewards.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with running my. Although on the flip side, when I got whales covering me, and I know we're not getting rewards, I'm like, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, there is a part of the strategy to being smart about your fighting, right? So like even in our IR, for example, we're not going to get first. We're probably not going to get in the top 3, but we're doing what we can to at least get 4th. We declared war. We got some coins plundered. So we've got some points on there. We've still got our 6. We're still working diplomatically. But you're right. We're not going in and we're not dumping 100% of everything to fight anymore because there's really no reason to, right? I'd rather save up my resources at this point and save up for AR coming next week instead, and they get those rewards. I
agree. I mean, and I look at it and every now and then I think, gosh, I've really taken that player. I mean, I thought he might have been good. And then on the flip side, I see some players, I'm like, I'm glad I got that player.
Yeah.
I'm keeping that one and I'm going to take care of him. He's fighting with almost nothing, and I want that guy.
Yeah.
And so, because a lot of times.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, a lot of times I just look at him like, I keep thinking, because in my mind, I'm like, I can see potential. I feel like I can see potential.
Right.
I know that's not true. I just like to give them a chance. But then I realize, man, that one was a farmer. I wish I could have just seen that a little bit sooner.
There's a couple of that. So especially now when we do recruiting, because like that's something that I've been pushing quite heavily in recruiting now, has to do with like activity times and kill numbers, and so I'm down with giving the people the benefit of the doubt, but in the same breath I've become very much more strict in, well, giving you a shot to prove yourself, but if you can't cut it, I've started to become a lot more hard coded there to be like, it's okay. I appreciate the effort. Go find a different place to play. Cause at the end of the day, I just don't have it anymore to like hold every single person's hand. Don't get me wrong. I love to help people. I love to be able to guide people. That's why I do YouTube. That's why I do these interviews. That's why, I participate in the community as much as I do. But there's a certain perspective where just like when you're trying to find an alliance that works well for you, I can give you all the tips and all the tricks and all the, all the information to do it. But if you don't take what I say to heart and you don't actually use it to change your game plan, like if I'm asking you, what your main is, and you still can't tell me, if you're 40 million or 50 million or 60 million might, and you can't tell me what your focus is, you should get that real quick. Unless you're a whale, unless money doesn't matter to you, right? But to most of us, it does. So you need to get that real quick. And I'm starting to get to a point now, even when it comes to people, where it's like, yep, you can have the chance to prove us, show us your mettle. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm starting to, consider it more cutthroat. But I just find like I've been burned so much in the past by giving people the chance and then, having it rely entirely on a friendship over the actual outcome of the game. Because that's what we're all here for. We're all here to do good, to play, to have fun. And no offense, but losing isn't fun.
Yeah. So ever since the last Genesis War, I had one of my good friends tell me, "Oh, I didn't fight because I didn't want to risk losing my soldiers."
Yeah, like
that was instant kick button. That was instant kick button.
That's right. Go somewhere else then.
Then
I appreciate it, but go somewhere else.
Then I just started talking to the next person, and then look at the people who kept catching on fire, and just started removing people because I was like, you know what, you're just weighing me down.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm still kind of at that phase, who else is not going to fight for anybody else? Why are you here if you're not going to fight?
Yeah.
Why? What are you doing for us?
Well, that's exactly why we enacted this ratio, right? Like that's why we've been focusing on this ratio for events, because at the end of the day, achieving even a 50% ratio for most players should be absolutely achievable in any metric. With the sheer amount of rallying that happens, the garrisons that happen, with all of the rest of it, there's no reason why you cannot earn those minimum targets, right? And
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying at 50 million might that you have to go out and score 100 million points or max out 80 million points in AR for the total rewards for War Meets War. But I am saying your goal should be to be in as many instances to fight as possible. You should be in as many chances to earn those points, to get those kills that you can. And if you're not only are you doing yourself a disservice, but you're doing a disservice to every other player in your alliance who is pushing for it. Like I look at our IR, for example, and don't get me wrong, I'm not ragging on anyone specific in my alliance, because a lot of situations IRL comes first, right? As we know, real life is a bitch. It's going to handle the majority of everything. But when I see players at 100 million might, or players at 140 million might, sitting with 10 million points, it's like, why am I carrying you?
Yeah.
We've got players,
no, I know.
right? We've got players at 130 million might scoring 250 million points. Why is he having to do so much? Because you would rather just sit on your troops. That doesn't make sense. So now I have to recruit, right? So now I have to recruit active people that understand how to fight, and then get rid of the ones that don't. And those are the ones that unfortunately end up chatting a lot too.
Yeah, I really should enact a rule myself for stay out of island chat. But man, even some of my most active players are really friendly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? You're killing. Go ahead and talk to whoever you want to talk to. I don't care. Say whatever you want. I don't care if you're complaining. I don't care if you're yelling at somebody or cursing at somebody. As long as you're killing, I don't fucking care.
That's right.
God.
You just dropped an F-bomb. Me.
I just dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah! Now we know it's a good podcast. That's a good one.
Now, it's just because I've been drinking a little bit, but
Ratings. No, I'm just kidding.
So I mean, I don't. So a lot of alliances they have like the stay out of that chat. I don't care. If you're killing, if you're scoring points, I don't care what you say in island chat.
Yeah.
I don't really care. You can
I'll
make
deal
fun
with
of
the
somebody.
consequences.
Their leader can message me. I'll be like, well, this person did score this many points. I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, they're putting out. What else can I expect,
I call it my limited ability to care about a lot of stupid stuff. Like
That's
chat,
right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Did the person say you're racist? No, that's fine. It's fine. Call you stupid? All right, that's fine. It's not racist, so it's fine.
That's where you go. Did he call you stupid? Yeah. Are you stupid? Yeah. Okay, cool. So what's the problem? Were you being stupid? So anyways, I do have to bring it back here because if we don't, AlphaCat, we're going to chat for another freaking 45 minutes. This has been an absolute blast.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. This has been an absolute blast. I've had a ton of fun, and that's exactly what these are for. So I'm glad to get lost in the time. But I am noticing that we are, petering in at about an hour and 15 minutes so far. So it's been, like I said, an absolute blast. Got lots to know about you. But I do want to wrap it up here, and I do want to give you one last moment in the sunshine, in the light, to go ahead and give a shout out to any players and specifically, or your alliances and specifically. Basically, anyone you want to give a shout out to, go ahead and say hello.
So I'm going to give a shout out to everybody in Fight with Honor, especially Gang 1, Madam 1, Pork Momo, Shirak, Regace, Tanis, especially Nico. I'm going to start naming off people like crazy now. One more though, GC. That's the last one we name off. But all those people have done so much for me. I mean, and especially for Fight with Honor too. And if you came from Region 209 and you're dispersed, you've got a friend in Fight with Honor. I'm going to help you if you ever need help or need a place to go.
Nice. And see, that right there is exactly what I love about this game, because and I talk about this a lot, and I mention it a lot to the people that we chat with, and I mention, and it's a common understanding that a lot of people talk about, is the beautiful aspect of the community in this game, and just putting out an open invitation that basically says, look, if you've been displaced from your home, you have a home here. That's a beautiful sentiment. I'd like to say thanks very much for having that mentality, having that ideology. And in the end of it, I want to say thanks for your time. I mean, it's been an absolute eye-opening experience here. Just being able to see, how the other side lives a little bit is like I said, eye-opening for me. It gives me things to aspire to. It gives me things to look forward to in the game. So again, thanks very much for taking the time and joining me here today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I kind of always want to do this one.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to do it, and I know that it'll be a good one that goes up. I know that the viewers are going to enjoy it because I enjoyed it. But that being said, folks, that is going to wrap it up for us today on Who TF Are You? This has been Chris the High Guy Jacobs. We've had our special guest, AlphaCat. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, fill out the notification bell so you get any new drops. If you'd like to take part and you'd like to be a guest, reach out to me either in-game or send me a comment on my YouTube channel. There are many ways to get in touch with me. Reach out. I'm always open to talk to new players. That's half the reason why we do this, is because they're fun and because at the end of the day, we all want something to bitch about. So we're going to go ahead and say thanks again last time. Love, peace, chicken grease, and until next time, stay lifted.